Welcome to module number 6. In this module, we're going to talk about harmony. What does harmony mean? It means more than one note sounding at the same time. Very simple. More than one note, 2, 3, 10, 100 notes. When they sound together, they can either be consonant or less consonant or more dissonant, and that depends on how their relationships are between the sounds, between the pitches that are sounding at the same time. The relationship between them and the whole set of notes playing together in a more or less harmonious way. It all relates to a basic nature phenomenon that is the harmonic series. Harmonic series is when we have a note, a fundamental, which is the basic note that is created through any kind of means, maybe hitting something or whistling or throwing air through a tube, and creates vibration at a certain frequency, let's say 100. And then we have the first overtone, the first harmonic is half of that, twice the frequency, half of the length of the column of air, or the string. Half of the string creates twice the frequency, to 100. Then we have the next one is 300. The fifth above that first harmonic. The second harmonic is 3/2 above the first harmonic, and then 4/3 above the third harmonic is the fourth harmonic, and so on. That we have to be careful because the fundamental is also harmonic, while the other are overtones. So there's some confusion between overtones. The first overtone is the second harmonic. Be careful with that. And then comes the major third. Then comes the minor third above that. Then the augmented second. Then the regular second, the major second. Then the half step, and so on. That goes. It creates this kind of sound. And the farther away you go from the fundamental, the more dissonant it is. And the more of those overtones you hear, the less defined is the pitch. But anyway, if we have the first overtone, the second, the 4, 5, and 6, specifically 4, 5, and 6, because 4 is repeated, is the same as the fundamental, the first overtone, and the second and the third overtone, which is the 4, 5, 6. Those 3 overtones create a major triad. Those are harmonics 4, 5, and 6. Remember, don't confuse overtones with harmonics. There's a difference of 1. So we have a major triad, which is something that happens in nature. Even birds or animals can hear those consonants. This very easy going, very simple ratio between one tone and the other one. Half, twice as much as the frequency, 3/2, 4/3, 5/4. It's something that Pythagoras discovered early in the 5th century before Christ, I think. Don't remember. But Pythagoras figured that out, and it's something that happens also in the solar systems, in systems that are gravitational resonance, something like that. In the moons of Jupiter, for example, one of them has twice the frequency of the other one. The other one has 3/2, exactly like the relationship between the tones of the harmonic row, of the harmonic series. So there's a relationship. Remember, the first one is half, or actually half the length, half the length of the string or the air column, but twice the frequency, so it's inversely proportional. Then 3/2, then 4/3, then 5/4, then 6/5, then 7/6, and so on. It always goes smaller and smaller. The relationship becomes smaller and smaller, and until it's infinitely small. There's a limit where it won't go further up, and because it's so small. And that's a harmonic series. And using harmonics number 4, 5, and 6, we have the triad, the major triad. And that's the basic unit of Western harmonic system. And when you add another one on top of that, and another below that, we have 7 tones that put together and rearranged in logical steps, brought down or up an octave, we have the diatonic scale. So we have this triad, and this triad rearranged in, for example, the D brought down an octave, the F brought up an octave, and so forth. We have the 7 notes of the diatonic scale. Why is it called diatonic? Because it has both whole steps and half steps. This is a whole step. That's a whole step. That's a half step. Half step, there's no black key in between. There's no half step in between. There's directly a half step. Also here, between the 7th and the octave, there is a half step. Between the 3rd and the 4th, there's a half step. That's why it's called diatonic. It has 2 different types of step. Whole steps and then half step, then whole step, whole step, whole step, half step again. That's why it's called diatonic. 2 different types of steps. So basically using the first triad built from the harmonic row, which we talked about before, then creating another one. Another harmonic row, a 5th above, and then a 5th below, another one. Using only the first 6 harmonics, we have a triad here that we can use together. Here, here, and here. If we rearrange them, this one we bring up, and this note we bring down, so we have the whole diatonic scale. And that's the basic unit, the basic tone material that we can use to create music. We don't need more than one harmonic context. We can go into further. For example, we use the next one up is using the first sharp note, which is F sharp. So we have G major, because we use the 2 tetrachords that we have. The first 4 notes and the second set of 4 notes are exactly the same in structure. Half step, whole step, and half step. And then we can use the same principle and then create a tetrachord on top of that using the same principle. So we need a black key, another extra note. And then again, we need another black note, and so forth. Then we go, and then every time we add an extra black key in order to have the possibility of another key, of another tonal center. Once you have the triads, we can see that the triads are built with thirds, meaning the distance between one note and the other one is a third. Meaning 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we can have this as a major triad, but we can invert the order and we have the minor third below. Then we have the minor triad, the second type. And then we have two small minor thirds. Then we have that diminished triad, and we do two major thirds together. We have the augmented triad. So we have basically four different types of triad: the major, the minor, the diminished, and the augmented. From then on, what we do is extend those triads with extra thirds above. For example, let's take the major triad. Let's do the obvious thing to create the same order: major, minor, and then we add a major, then a minor, then a major and a minor. So we have major, minor third, major third, minor third, major, minor. So we have this. Those are the extensions of the triad. Triad and the extensions. So we have 7 notes, because further we are going back to the beginning. We have the octave here. And then if we go on, then we have to go into another key. But these are the natural extensions of the major chord. And these are, let's do it the opposite. In the minor chord, the minor mode, we have minor, major, minor, major, minor, major. Those are the natural extensions of the minor chord. This is the minor triad, and these are the extensions. So it sounds pretty good, pretty stable, pretty stable and pleasant, relatively pleasant to hear. While if we have, then we have more dissonant possibilities. And of course, we talk about the alterations later. And the diminished chord, we can extend the diminished chord, but it's in a very strange situation. If we use only minor, then we only have 2 extensions. Actually only 1 extension, because the next extension, if we go minor, 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 then we go back to the beginning. So we have only 4 notes, a full diminished chord. We can obviously maybe interchange. Here we have minor, minor, major, major, minor. So we have very strange, very unstable chord. But that's good. That's enough with 3 extensions only. And instead of using maybe that is valid. Those are the 4 notes of the 7 notes of the scale, using 4 extensions. And the diminished, the augmented chord, then we have to augment with a minor third, maybe another minor, maybe another major, and another major here. Very dissonant chord, very unstable. We need some resolution of those tensions. But very modern chord. In the 20th century, it would become very in fashion to use this type of chords. Or this kind of chord, for example. With extensions that create a lot of tensions, a lot of major 7th, minor 9th, etc. So we have, the more we go into the beyond the minor and major mode, the more complex are the harmonies. And then we have combination of the alteration of the 7th. Then we have the minor 7, which creates a dominant chord. Dominant meaning that this tension needs a resolution. That's the first note that was added to the triad that made melodic and harmonic sense. So we have dominant, meaning in this case, in the harmonic context, the 5th grade of the scale. That's what we call the dominant, the most important after the tonic. The tonic is the center of the key, the main tonality. And then we go to the 5th, that's dominant, which we can add a 7th to create that tension between this and this tone. so on. Then we can add extensions like the ninth, another extension. We can add a major ninth. Yeah, we can have that. So you can experiment with the ninth, the major ninth, the minor ninth, going into a major chord, the minor ninth going to a minor chord, to a minor tonic. And we are starting to get complex functions put together. And we have the fourth grade in F, in the key of F, where F is the tonic. The next important chord is the fourth grade, which is the subdominant, below the dominant. I did a little inversion here, using a note that is not the root or the tonic of the chord. Don't confuse the tonic of the chord or the root of the chord with the tonic of the tonality, which is the first step. That's sometimes confusing. Let's call it the root. The first note is the root. So root, third, and fifth. Here we have the third, but here. Then we have the extensions. Which might be prepared or unprepared. For example, we resolve or we don't resolve it. Again, minor ninth resolution. Alterations are when we change in the extensions. We change, instead of using the major, the natural extension, we use another extension altering that ninth. For example, the natural ninth would be here in the major key, and then we go flat, sharp ninth, sharp 11, 6 or 13, depending on if you have a fifth or not. You call it 6 or 13, and then you have alteration. You create more tensions. In this case, we have 1, 3, 7, flat 9, sharp 11, 6, and then we continue. We have a major 7 tonic. The tonic with the major 7. And then we can do a different voicing, changing the order of the notes. Doing it in different octaves. Maybe we want to add this one here. The same chord, but with different order of the notes. So if you have a string quartet, this will be perfect. First violin, second violin, viola, and cello. That's what you call voicing. Instead of doing the regular position, narrow and in order, we do a different, you know, or we bring up the, or even wider yet, if we want. That's an extreme voicing, but still we're using these elements. This E we played here, we changed the octave of the E and we have this same chord. The steps, it's important to know the 7 steps of the scale, building triads in each of them. Then we have extension with 1 extension. Those are the 7 steps, the 7 harmonic steps of the scale. So in another level, we're going to go into more detail of harmonic context, how to expand the harmonic possibilities of your composition, how to harmonize melodies, and how to create melodies out of different harmonies, giving more importance to the harmony and subordinating the melody to whatever harmonies you have. That might be also an exercise that we are going to tackle in the next level of the course. Thank you.